we've started the video.
Hi, I'm Gina Browning, the Chief Communications Officer at the SPCA. I am once again joined with our Chief Veterinary Officer, Dr. Helene Chevalier, our
Hello.
Veterinary Assistant Jen, and of course, who's kidding who, the star of the video is Charlie, who is currently being treated right now by Jen and Dr. Chevalier. And can you give us a quick update? And as we're checking on Charlie and as Jen and Dr. Chevalier are treating him and doing some work with Charlie, they're going to explain what they're doing, and in between breaks I'll answer some of the questions that you've all been asking on Facebook. So Dr. Chevalier.
So, well, thank you for following Charlie, because, you know, the more people follow him, the better he's going to get, I think.
Yep.
He's got a whole crew behind him, and thanks to the community as well. So right now what we're doing is he has some injuries on the head here. There's a little blood. It's a little graphic. I'm sorry. They look like puncture wound. We call them, you know, in the medical terms, if I may say. He's on antibiotics and pain medication. So, but right now we are, because he's feeling a little bit better, he's standing right now.
Yep.
We're addressing them more specifically. This morning he ate very well. He has gained some weight, which some of the weight he's gained almost, how many pounds does he gain now? Like 3 to 4 pounds already.
Wow.
So part of the weight is the rehydration, because he was very dehydrated. So we gave him a lot of fluid yesterday, and that's why, you know, he perked up after the fluid. He was so lethargic before. And some of it is he's been eating as well. So we repeated the blood work this morning, like we said we were going to do. So we do have some concerns, which we knew we might, you know, have some challenges. Some of it is red blood cells. The amount, you know, of hemoglobin he has in his blood is very low, which could be associated with the fact he's very thin. If he doesn't have a lot of iron, like us, sometimes we supplement it, it's going to be low. But now we have some concern about the platelets in his blood. So we're going to do more diagnostics, more investigation, and we're going to follow him very closely.
Dr. Chevalier, can you mention, I don't know, Bethany, have you been able to show his tail
No,
the
but I
whole
will.
time this treatment's been going on? Dr. Chevalier, can you speak to the fact that during all of this, and you know, he's not feeling the greatest, but that tail has never stopped. What does that tell you about
So
him?
it's very exciting. I mean, as right now, he's just responding to what we're doing very well. So he's wagging his tail, he's letting us treat him. He's very cooperative, and he's very happy. So he has a high spirit, so he's fighting this.
He hasn't shown a sign of aggression that I've been aware of. Have you seen any signs of aggression whatsoever?
No.
I know that's one question that's been asked on Facebook. Some people are wondering, I know it's hard to believe, but people are wondering if and when Charlie will be available for adoption. That's hard to say, because right now what we're trying to do first, as Dr. Chevalier just explained, is really work on saving his life and make sure he survives this ordeal. If he ends up going up for adoption, you're going to see all that information right here on Facebook or at yourspca.org. Some people are wondering how they can be a part of what's happening right now, how they can be a part of this life-saving emergency care. You can go right to yourspca.org and consider donating to our Yelp for Help Fund. That is in place to help animals who need these emergency life-saving surgeries and treatments and care, and have nobody to pay for it, because all of the people in the community have stepped up and said we want a fund for this, and you've all made it happen. So thank you if you've already donated toward the care of Charlie. If you have donated, take a look at your dollars being put to good use. People who wonder where their dollars are going, right now you're seeing it. This is where your dollars are going. Dr. Chevalier, what's next now for Charlie?
So right now what we're doing is we're attending to some of the injuries that he had when he came in, right? So we cleaned his head here. Right now we're not clipping, but he had some discharge. He's on antibiotics, so to fight the infection. And here, yesterday it was very red. We call this like a puncture wound. And there's also, you know, some pressure sores here. There's a little bit of drainage here. So we're cleaning it, and then what we're gonna do is, we were very lucky, yet again, the community comes up. We had some of this special dressing. It's special honey that's gonna help with the healing and also avoid bacteria to go in. It's a little pad that we can apply on the wound that's gonna avoid infection and help the healing, because it's gonna have to heal from the inside out. We might not be able to do surgery to close it because it's still draining.
Right.
But again, we're very lucky. I think it's a local hospital who donated us this, so it's fantastic. And then we're gonna take some radiographs of his joint here. We talked about it yesterday. This is the carpus, sort of like the wrist for us, just to make sure there's no problem, because he's being very sensitive on this one here.
And another thing, of course, the tail still hasn't stopped wagging for those of you keeping track. Jen, I have to ask you a question. When we talked a little bit about this on a couple of the radio stations this morning, but Dr. Chevalier does caution us when it comes to cases as extreme as this. It's hard when you are so emotionally involved and emotionally invested, but we saw you firsthand when this dog was carried in yesterday. How do you not become, I mean, is it impossible?
It's impossible,
to not?
absolutely, because you see them in the worst state, and then you just want them to get better,
Yeah.
and that's your main goal. So, you always want the best for them.
We always say to succeed here, I mean, you kind of have to know that you're going to be going home a certain number of days a year crying. And if you're not that kind of person, you might not succeed here at the SPCA. So is there anything that you'd like to add about what's happening right now? If not, we'll have an update later today with Charlie.
I think we're very thankful the community is supporting Charlie. Please continue to help him in his recovery. We are cautiously optimistic. We still have to investigate, the blood, the fact that these platelets are very low, and we're going to put him on iron supplementation and investigate that more. And like Gina was saying, he's been very, very nice and cooperative, but we are also cautious.
Yeah.
Sadly, in the past, we have seen dogs who were in this condition, whom we have, fed, brought back to a better weight, and they were in a better spirit, and sometimes they've become aggressive, because if they weren't fed appropriately for a while, now they're worried it's going to happen again. So we are very fortunate that we have a behavior department, and they are part of the team to help Charlie, and they're working with him. We're feeding him 4 times a day, small amount, to get his stomach used to using the food again, and the behavior departments will hand feed him and try to look at how he's reacting, to try to catch very early if we think there's any signs of that, to avoid it happening.
Yeah, that would probably be interesting for all of you to see. So maybe today or in the course of this week, we'll get some live video of that hand feeding going on, and they could explain what they're looking for, and they could tell you exactly what the behavior is indicative of. So a very quick update. We have been receiving some phone calls, many of them anonymous, but we have been receiving some tips. Again, if there are people with any kind of information, or even just they've suspected something in the neighborhood, that Bailey, Walden area of Buffalo, give us a call, 875-7360. You can speak with an officer or a dispatch operator. And we might be doing another live video today. We'll be giving you an update regardless later today. And we're going to try to get a video too of that hand feeding going on. So thank you everybody, to the thousands of people who've called and who've posted. Thank you so much for your prayers and your concern for this wonderful dog. He's on the right road right now. So we'll keep it up. Right, Charlie?